Petroleum in the contemporary energy scene has to do with the emergence of petroleum. In order for you to grab this concept, you have to be able to discuss this based on the emergence of petroleum, the advantages, and which is actually the uses of petroleum, and the disadvantages. And due to the disadvantages, so what are the alternative? So there could be some shift to better fuels that are eco-friendly in nature, and that is more replaceable, that could actually replace the use of petroleum. We have different disadvantages of petroleum. So um, the petroleum in the contemporary energy scene has to do with the emergence of petroleum as a major energy source, and it is one of the primary sources of energy in the contemporary global energy scene. So it is the use is actually becoming increasingly controversial due to its negative impact on the environment and on the climate at large. So, and we know that petroleum is in the form of crude oil. Okay, we should be able to differentiate between petroleum, crude oil, and natural gas. Okay, they are all fuels. Okay, so petroleum in the form of crude oil is used to produce gasoline, diesel fuel, and other transportation fuels that power airplanes and vehicles. Okay, so it's also used as a feedstock for the petrochemical industry, which produces various products such as fertilizers, plastics, and the rest, and other industrial products. So even despite its, wide range of use, okay, the use of petroleum has actually several disadvantages, you know. So even the extraction, the refining, and the transportation of petroleum have significant environmental impact. Those environmental impacts, such as pollution, air pollution, greenhouse emissions such as the methane, hydrofluorocarbons, perfluorocarbons, carbon dioxide, and oil spills. The byproducts of petroleum, the byproducts of petroleum use actually, such as the carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, actually contribute to climatic change, which is of growing concern for policymakers and the public. All right. So for these disadvantages that has been stated, these are reasons why there is a growing consensus that the world must transit away from these fossil fuels such as petroleum and towards other cleaner, more eco-friendly, renewable source of energy such as solar, hydropower, wind. Okay, so however, the change to alternative fuel will take time. Okay, and this will require major investment in new technologies in order to achieve this. Not just new technologies, infrastructures and policies, and actually petroleum is likely to remain an important source of energy in the short to medium term as these changes get to take place. So now we have to understand how petroleum is being generated. All right, there are several stages to the production or the generation, or we can say the maturation of petroleum. All right, so petroleum maturation or generation is the natural process, it's a natural process by which organic matter such as the planktons are transformed, all right, into crude oil and natural gas. Now, this process takes place over millions of years and involves several key steps, which we're going to discuss. We have deposition, and then we have burial, we have diagenesis, right? So before we go through all the stages, the deposition, which is the first stage, involves accumulation of organic matter at the bottom of oceans, lakes, or other bodies like water bodies. Okay, so deposition occurs when dead marine organisms such as the planktons sink and settle on the sediment. Okay, so the second stage is the burial. So over time, this sediment that has settled as a result of the marine organism, dead marine organisms such as the planktons, all right, and other layers of materials accumulate on top of the organic matter, so burying it deeper into the earth's crust. So the weight of these layers exerts pressure on the organic matter. All right, so the next step, the next stage is the diagenesis. Okay, so as the organic matter is buried, right, it undergoes a process known as diagenesis, which is actually a series of chemical and physical changes. Now, the heat and pressure from the overlying layers cause this organic matter to undergo some biochemical reactions, resulting in the loss of volatile components. And during diagenesis, elements such as nitrogen, sulfur, and oxygen are removed from the organic matter, causing the sedimentary organic matter's hydrogen content to increase. Okay, so once these elements are removed, hydrogen content gets more increasingly. So the presence of iron during this process, diagenesis, also helps to improve the likelihood of sulfur removal, because iron would react with sulfur, all right, during the burial times, the lengthy burial times, thereby increasing petroleum economic value, because um, petrol with lower sulfur content has higher value. So we're talking about in the letter ending. So the next stage is called decatagenesis. So this is the thermal breakdown or alteration of the organic matter into petroleum by the process of cracking. All right, the breakdown of higher molecules of carbon, hydrocarbons to lower hydrocarbon molecules. Okay, so catagenesis is the second stage. Temperature increases, kerosene undergoes thermal cracking. We've talked about kerosene as a fossilized, insoluble organic residue. So the cracking of kerosene results in the formation of liquid hydrocarbon. So this is essentially how petroleum and natural gas is actually being formed before they are being extracted, okay, or drilled and then refined. So before we proceed, let's get to know the differences between crude oil, petroleum, and then natural gas. All right. Now, crude oil is just a naturally occurring um, unrefined petroleum product. All right, and it is a complex mixture of hydrocarbons and other organic compounds. It is typically a liquid, but can be a semi-solid or a solid. The solid form is called the tear. All right, so and its composition varies depending on source and geology. All right, so and it's also mainly used as a feedstock for refining into various petroleum products. All right, this is what crude oil is all about. And then we have petroleum is much of a broader term encompassing various hydrocarbon based products. So petroleum is derived from crude oil, all right? So it includes crude oil, natural gas, and refined products like gasoline, right? Diesel, and we have jet fuel. So petroleum can be derived from crude oil or natural gas. So, and they are used as energy sources, lubricants, and feedstocks for some chemicals and making of plastics, right? Then natural gas, on the other hand, are just naturally occurring gaseous hydrocarbon mixture, right? They are composed primarily of methane with small amounts of other hydrocarbons and some impurities. You can see, right? So they are found in underground rock formations, often along crude oil. So wherever there's crude oil, um, there is the possibility of natural gas being found. So they also used as fuel for electricity generation, heating, transportation, and cooling. Okay, so we have the CNG, we have the LNG. All right, the liquefied natural gas. All right, so these are just the differences between crude oil, petroleum, and then natural gas.